Hi everyone, thanks for visiting my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Carol, the Thrifty Chic Housewife. I'm so glad that you stopped by. So today we're going to be talking about salsa. We are in the midst of harvesting from our gardens, right? And salsa is a great way to use up some of that bounty. Now in my last video, I shared with you how to make fiery peach salsa. So good. If you missed that recipe, I highly encourage you to go back and give it a look. Peach salsa is absolutely delicious with barbecue pulled pork, just saying. And we do have a canning recipe for making barbecue pulled pork as well. So it's great to have on your shelf, great combination and just wonderful to have. But anyway, if you watched that video, in that video, I gave you some cautions about canning up salsa and the safety of canning, in particular, your own recipe. Sometimes we like to be a little adventurous with our canning and kind of change things up or do our own thing, but it's not safe to do that with salsa. Salsas are a combination of high acid and low acid foods that are water bath or steam canned, which is usually used for high acid foods. So there's a delicate balance in your jars of acidity. So it's really important to use a tested recipe where it's been proven to be safe in the amounts that they give you for using low acid and acid foods. But with that being said, I'm sure you're thinking in your mind, so why is the title of her video Choose Your Own Salsa? Well, because the National Center for Home Food Preservation has given us a little bit of leeway to come up with our own salsa recipe and still be safe. By your own salsa recipe, I mean that they are allowing you options for the types of onions. Now you want to make sure you use a bulb onion, red, yellow, sweet, white, that kind of an onion. There are no allowances for using green or spring onions, or leeks, or shallots. Unless they are used in a specific recipe. So please don't use any of those, but you can change out any bulb onion, so you can pick your own onions, and you can also pick your own peppers of any variety. So they're allowing us to mix things up, and I really enjoyed doing this last year when I did it because I used a combination of peppers from my garden and it turned out delicious. It really changed the flavor profile, plus it allowed me to use up whatever I had on hand, so it was fantastic. So you can use hot peppers, you can use jalapenos, habaneros, serrano, whatever kind of hot peppers you want. You can use sweet bell peppers, you can use green bell peppers. Any variety of pepper can be switched out. So basically the guidelines that they are giving us for making your own choice salsa is they're giving us the amounts. So we need 6 cups of peeled, cored, seeded, and chopped ripe tomatoes. So you can pick the type of tomato you want to use. I have used a combination of paste tomatoes and early girl, and maybe I threw in a beefsteak, whatever I had. I just went out to my garden and picked whatever I had ready. So I'm using a combination of tomatoes. We need 6 cups. And then we also need 9 cups of diced onions and or peppers of any variety. So you can pick your onions and your peppers. And it's 9 cups total, so if you want more peppers than onions, that's completely acceptable. If you want more onions than peppers, that's acceptable. I also included, they do not talk about this here, but I know it is safe, I also included 6 cloves of garlic in mine. Garlic is safe for canning. I just included it in with my 9 cups of diced onions and peppers. So I used a combination, not only a combination of tomatoes, but I also used a combination of peppers. I've got green bell pepper, I have a red bell pepper, I have some other sweet bell peppers that we had in our garden. I've thrown in a couple of small poblano peppers and a few jalapenos and banana peppers. Banana peppers are delicious in salsa. So I have 4 or 5 different peppers going on in mine, as well as the different types of tomatoes. I did use large sweet onions. I used, out of the 9 cups, I used 2 large sweet onions, which gave me almost 4.5 cups, which is about half. So I'm doing pretty much a half onion, half pepper combination. And I'll list in the description box for you below exactly what I used. But it's wonderful to just go out to your garden, see what you have on hand, and come up with your own salsa, right? So I love that about this recipe. The acid we're going to be using, they are recommending bottled lemon or lime juice. I love lime in salsa, so I'm going to be using all lime juice, but you could use lemon or lime or a combination of the two. It just must be bottled. In the fiery peach salsa, the recipe did allow for us to use fresh lime juice, but you cannot do that here. It is not safe. It's only been tested with bottled to keep the acidity accurate. So make sure you're using bottled lemon or lime juice, and then they just have you add some salt. I'm going to be adding some other spices. Dried spices are safe to adjust or add to any canning recipe. So I'm going to be including some chipotle chili powder, which just makes this over the top delicious. Some regular chili powder, some salt of course, some cumin, and some Mexican oregano. I love Mexican oregano. If you're not familiar with it, I encourage you to give it a try. It's absolutely delicious in any Mexican or Latin cooking, and it's wonderful in salsa. So I'm going to be using those. Those are totally safe. I just would caution you, do not use fresh herbs. And I will link an article that talks about safe swaps in canning, and they do talk about herbs, and using fresh herbs because of their water content can throw off the pH level in your jar. So please do not use fresh herbs. In the fiery peach salsa, they did give us an allowance for using fresh cilantro. Please don't do that here. That is not part of our guidelines for making our own choice salsa in this recipe. So don't do that here. But it is safe for the other recipe. So I think this recipe is great. It does give us some leeway and gives us options for changing things up, tweaking things a little bit to create our own flavor profile of a salsa that we may like better than a quote unquote tested recipe. So let's get started. Okay guys, here we go. Really simple stuff here. We have our 6 cups of peeled, cored, chopped tomatoes. And then we have our 9 cups combination of our peppers, onions, and I threw in some garlic. 9 cups of that. To that, we are going to add 1.5 cups of the bottled lime or lemon juice. And then we're going to add our seasonings. Now, the seasonings are going to be entirely up to you. I've tested this and this is what we like. You may have to tweak it to your liking. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of salt. The National Center for Home Food Preservation uses way less than that, but it was not enough for me. So I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of salt. I need 1.5 tablespoons of the chipotle chili powder. The chipotle chili powder is really good in salsa, you guys. And then we need 1.5 tablespoons of regular chili powder. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of cumin and 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano. We are going to give that a stir. We're going to bring it to a boil on high heat. When it comes up to a boil, we are going to let it simmer for 3 minutes, and then we're ready to start canning. Simple as that. Super easy stuff going on here. So while that's happening, go ahead and get your jars and your canner ready. Okay guys, so I brought it up to a boil. We're gonna reduce our heat and allow it to simmer for 3 minutes, and then we are ready for canning. Okay guys, our 3 minutes are up, so we are all set for canning. Modern canning guidelines state that you do not need to pre-sterilize jars and lids as long as you are processing for 10 minutes or more. We are going to be processing for 15 minutes. Something I just want to talk about briefly because it keeps coming up. Lots of people are having issues with the ball lids, and I think it's because you're still continuing to simmer them. I don't have any issues with my ball lids holding a seal or getting a seal to begin with. You just want to wash them and set them aside. You do not want to heat them anymore. They changed the lids several years back. Before, you always had to simmer them, but they've changed the rubber that makes the seal, and you don't need to do that anymore. So you're just doing yourself a disservice by continuing to do that, and I think that's why people are still having issues with them. So if you're using ball canning lids, make sure you just wash them thoroughly, rinse them, and set them aside. Don't heat them, and you shouldn't have that issue. I don't have that issue, so that has to be it. Okay, back to canning. So we're going to be canning in pint jars. You can also do this in half-pint jars, the 8-ounce jelly jars. I'm going to be using pints. Your canning time for both is the same. And we need 1/2 inch of headspace. Okay, the other thing I failed to mention about your jars is you want to make sure they're hot. So I washed mine, and I'm keeping mine hot in a sink full of hot water. So let's go ahead and grab a couple of our jars. You should always start with a hot jar. Okay, so let's ladle in our salsa. Make sure you taste it and adjust your spices if you want to adjust your spices in any way. And like I said, we're looking for 1/2 inch of headspace. I highly recommend the Chipotle chili powder. It's like a sweet heat. It's really good. Okay, once you get to your 1/2 inch headspace, you're going to use a debubbling tool, a chopstick, or a plastic butter knife and release your air bubbles. Releasing air bubbles is important. Heard people say that you don't need to do that. You do need to do that. So make sure you release your air bubbles. It's important. And if your headspace changes, you can adjust it. It is common for your headspace to change a little bit. You may have to add a little bit more when you after you release your air bubbles. All right. So once you get the correct headspace, then you need to clean the rim of your jar. I always use a paper towel dipped in white vinegar. The white vinegar is not necessary, but it does make sure that your jar is nice and clean, so that you can get a good seal. And then we're going to center our lids and add our rings, fingertip tight. Lift them into our canner. I am steam canning, so I have 3 inches of simmering water in the bottom of my steam canner per the canner's directions, as well as my rack. If you are water bath canning, you want to make sure that your canner is about half full of simmering water. And then once you get all your jars in there, the water needs to cover your jars by at least 1 inch. Okay, I got exactly 6 pint jars. I do have some liquid left in the bottom of my pan, so if you're using really juicy tomatoes, that probably will happen to you as well. Some of my tomatoes were really juicy. It's really nice to use a combination of juicy and Roma tomatoes or paste tomatoes. Paste tomatoes will give you a thicker salsa, so it just kind of depends on the texture that you want and what you have available, since we have that option. So anyway, my canner is full. So we can go ahead and put our lid on, and then we're going to crank our heat up. We're going to crank our heat up to high. We're going to bring it up to temperature. If you are water bath canning, you want your canner to come up to a full boil. Make sure your water does cover your jars by at least 1 inch. If you are steam canning like I am, and you do have to use a canner that is designated as a steam canner, you can't just decide you want a steam can if you just have a water bath canner. So I want to make that clear, because I have had that question. So this canner is a water bath canner and a steam canner, and I do have a link for it in the description box below if you are interested in it. It is a wonderful canner. I have absolutely fallen in love with steam canning. So if you're steam canning, I have a dial gauge on mine that tells me when I'm in my green go zone, when I can start my processing time. If you don't have that, you want a steady stream of steam coming out of your steam vents that's 4 to 6 inches long, and you want to make sure your water is at a full boil in the bottom. So those are the things to look for. So when we get there, we can start our processing time. Okay guys, I am in my green go zone. I have a steady stream of steam coming out of my steam vents. My water is boiling. If you're water bath canning, make sure you're at a full boil, so we can go ahead and set our timer for 15 minutes. Make sure you adjust for altitude if that's appropriate for you. We're going to process for 15 minutes. Make sure that you adjust your heat, slowly decrease your heat, just to maintain the full boil if you're water bath canning, or stay in your go zone if you have a dial gauge or you have a steady stream of steam. Make sure you maintain that the whole time, but you don't want it boiling so vigorously that it's wanting to blow your lid off or anything like that. So you do need to adjust your heat just to maintain one of those 3 options. Okay guys, our processing time is up, so go ahead and turn off your heat. At this point, you can remove the lid. You want it to do it safely. Make sure you tilt it away from you so you don't get burned or give yourself a steam facial. If you are water bath canning, you need to let your jar sit in your canner for 5 minutes. If you're steam canning, there's no need to wait the 5 minutes. So we can go ahead and take a look at our delicious salsa. Make sure that after you take them out, you give them plenty of room in between each other to adequately cool. And we can take a look. Isn't that beautiful? Looks so yummy, all those delicious peppers and onions, yum. Oh, and how easy was that? And it allowed us some options. I love that. So, all safe. I will make sure to leave a link to the National Center for Home Food Preservation's website for this recipe, and if you want to do some more reading on it, they do give some suggestions as far as what they thought was better to use, lime juice versus lemon juice and tomatoes and things like that. So I will leave a link to that. I will also leave a link to the article that explains why it's not safe to make up your own salsa recipe and can that. That is important as well. Thanks for coming along with me today, guys. If you are a social media person, make sure to follow me on social media. I do Instagram and Facebook. I also have a website, so check the links out below, and I will see you next time. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me.